You told me more were coming, and here we go.
And did I name this one? I did not on the show, but I think, ran its course. And I don't know, and I love Mike McDaniel. I loved getting to meet him. And I gotta say, as we look here, he's parting ways. Stephen Ross met with him this week. I think a lot of people, and I think we might not be done. I don't know if we're done with there might be one more. There might be one more. And maybe we'll see after Wild Card Weekend, because there are a couple of those names that, they're preparing for games like they're preparing to save their careers and their lives. As far as, this is a tough business, if we talk to Darren Waller about. I'm sure you're not shocked to see this. Anything else I need to know? Because I know it just hit the presses. The presses? The press?
Yeah, just the press.
Mm-hmm.
Just breaking this morning. I think, a lot of people aren't surprised in the wake of the John Harbaugh news. I think that's the part of it. Because if you're wondering, why did it take this long? Why did it take until after, all these other teams made their moves? You'd have to think that was a significant piece of it here for Miami and Stephen Ross.
I'm trying to, I don't think, I know exactly who's going to go do this gig. I know exactly who's going to go do. I'd like to hear everyone's thoughts on who they think is a good fit, who would be attracted to the Miami job. Okay, and I don't know. Is it a more attractive gig than New York? What do you do with Tua, right? What do you do with Tua and that contract? Harbaugh has got to go to New York, and then you need a young, slick coach who will like Miami in Miami. I don't know. That's the vibe. So I'm excited to see what's next for McDaniel. I mean, this is a game-changing addition. Let's make no mistake. And this is not like, I gotcha. I called the I do think, you know what? I'm a little lighter on the losing the job coaching thing than I've been in recent years, because I really believe in the talent of all these guys as the best in the game, and they really kind of end up where they're supposed to be. I believe in the faith of how those things work out, and I think that will happen with Harbaugh, with whoever may or may not be next with these 8 vacancies now. I think we're up to, right? So and I'm looking at obviously guys will take those jobs without getting fired, like a Ben Johnson. But Mike McDaniel will go to a team, and he will be a game-changing addition as one of the best offensive minds in the biz. So I'm excited to see that. He'll be on a staff. So if I'm Dan Campbell, I'm doing everything to get him to Detroit. He's got phone calls coming in. He could be a big addition. By next year, they could get right back into where they need to be. Speaking of the Ben Johnson kind of departure. Go ahead.
Yeah, and there are a lot of OC vacancies opening up around the league right now, because Dan Campbell, the Lions firing John Morton the other day. The Bucs this morning just fired Josh Grizzard, their OC. So he is going to be the most sought after offensive mind. And I wouldn't put it, he's going to get head coaching interviews here too. Absolutely. But even if that doesn't happen, he is going to totally change somebody's offense this year. And I love that idea of him in Detroit. I think we see him right back in that Super Bowl, at the top of that Super Bowl favorite list next offseason if that happens.
It's so true. So that just happened right now. Your thoughts, guys, as this sort of starts shaking out. We're going to talk to Joel Klatt and Phil Simms. I think Kevin Durant is on the show tomorrow. We're taping an interview with him a little bit later. Let's talk a little Wild Card Weekend. But before we do that, speaking of coaching, the Bucs collapse was hard to swallow if you're a Bucs fan. We do have the reports that Todd Bowles sticking in Tampa. I know that there's this feeling with this one was really hard. There were Super Bowl, not hopes, but the goal. The goal was break through and they took a step back. And I don't know. I have to tell you guys, with every fiber in my being this morning on a Thursday, back in LA on Team No Sleep, Todd Bowles is the guy. Todd Bowles has earned every right to keep his job and fix his mess. And, by the way, that began this morning. They fired John Grizzard and Thad Lewis, their quarterback coach, and their OC that I'm seeing. Can we go to the full screen here? Here we have it. 3 straight division titles means something, regardless what division you're in, okay? He has had to replace his OC 5 separate times, as you're seeing. And he keeps it rolling. It's been stable. This year has been tough, some injuries. I'm not going to make excuses, but the players go to bat for him. He's their favorite. Everyone in the organization has to. And really one of the most respected figures in this league. And it's part of why these great players want to be in Tampa. If you can't figure it out next year, yeah, that's, to me, an entire discussion. He's just accomplished. You can't, there's this thing of like, people's patience, fan base's patience, the speed of the game, how quickly some of these guys are Ben Johnsoning their way into a 2C. I understand that, but that doesn't mean that we have to like be so trigger happy when it comes to this. And then, yeah. I don't know. He's got to stay. I don't want to hear it otherwise. Okay, let's talk. By the way, Baker, left shoulder sprain. I'm looking at the injuries. Right bicep injury. 2 separate knee issues. Throwing shoulder injury. And an oblique injury. Bucs were 5-1 heading into that was, the oblique was something we heard about heading into that. They were 5-1. So with Baker, you need to protect yourself better. Should the Bucs have maybe protected him from himself so he could get healthy for a stretch run? That's a discussion I'd certainly be interested in having. The Niners did it with Brock. It seemed to work. Both valid questions. I'm not buying into the idea that we know this is who Baker is. We saw who Baker is. I don't like that either. We have too much evidence otherwise, and I trust that he and Bowles turn it around next year. Now, Matthew, is Evans part of that equation? That I don't know.
That's going to be the big thing this offseason, because both Mike Evans, both Levante David, not only free agents, but as we know, have both brought up their retirement word.
Only if they won a Super Bowl, though, I feel like. They're both like, if we win. They expected to win, and that's the sad part of this. And I don't know if fans really knew that as much on like a daily national level, but that was the expectation. They fell so short of it. But, he's only 32, Mike Evans. I can't, right? Like, he can't.
I know.
Why is he even talking about retirement?
I don't know. I didn't like that in that training camp interview, he kept bringing it up, like, because, you're talking about like the list he can join and all that. And he's like, I'm not going to be playing that long to reach those numbers. So it's certainly something that's on his mind. But yeah, I mean, he showed clearly he still has plenty to give. He looked great before the injury, coming back after the injury.
Oh my gosh.
He's got to run it back, I would think.
We have more injury news for the Niners?
Yes, we do.
Ricky Pearsall. Trent Williams, not in practice yesterday. Super Bowl in their backyard? I don't know, like, what are we doing? Fred Warner's replacement, Tatum Bethune, now out for the year. Is that true?
Yeah.
So am I playing at linebacker? Who are the guys playing at linebacker for them right now? Do you know?
So there's 3 guys they added around Thanksgiving. I know Kaiser White, the former Cardinal, is one of them.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So it's guys that have not been a part of this team all year long and that were out there available for them to pick up.
Well, it's not like they face a team that runs the ball really well or has like a Lane Johnson or a Saquon trending the right direction. No, they have the Eagles. If they do that, they're going to the Super Bowl. That's wild. That's really bad news, though. I don't know how they'll be able to do that.
Yeah.
The Eagles offense, thanks, Sam. Thanks for naming linebackers for me that were added on Thanksgiving. Stats is somewhere clapping for you this morning. Here's, thinking about the Eagles and what they're doing and what's going to be a huge difference maker for this playoff run for them. I want to call my shot on something Hamilton put on my radar, and I co-sign. There's like a thing to this Eagles offense that we haven't seen much this year that is going to pop off, and that is releasing and letting Jalen Hurts cook on the ground. Take a look at this. We're talking designed runs, people. These are Jalen Hurts numbers on designed runs over the last 4 years, not including tush pushes, not including scrambles. These are plays specifically for him to run. Jalen, run. And you can see he's averaging almost 3 times as many carries per season over his first 3 years as a starter than he did this year. He's been super effective when he's done it. It hasn't been a big part of the offense yet, and it makes sense. You're paying him all that money. He is the franchise. You don't want to run him. And he can throw. There's a danger in it. There's a risk you're taking in doing it. But now that the playoffs are here, I think we see the legs become a bigger, game-changing factor. And I think it's going to help the entire offense. When defenses have to worry about Jalen keeping the ball, it's going to open up the run game for our guy Saquon, who's crushing it. It's going to draw defenders, of course, their eyes into the backfield and open stuff up, downfield for the passing game. I don't have to explain the basics of football to you. You understand what's going on. And then I don't have to explain to you either that these linebacker injuries are kind of ripe for the picking in this wild card round matchup. That one is Sunday, 1:30. Not sure the channel, but very excited to see what's going on FanDuel Sportsbook with all of that.